everybody to meet Dane O'Neill. Hi, gorgeous. You're in Hawaii. How are you, Dane?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. And Dane, there's somebody else. Tell people where you are because I had one or two other people who are in Hawaii who registered for this, and I said, "Oh, you got to meet Dane." So, which island are you on?
I'm on the Big Island near Pahoa, actually.
Oh, okay, on the Big Island. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Well, I haven't been over to there to see your new place yet, but I will. I will. Um, hey Brian, where are you calling in from? And you also have to tell us the proper pronunciation of your company.
Yeah, I'm here from Dallas, Texas. And Augieverse is the name. Think of it as the metaverse, but Augieverse.
Augieverse.
Yes.
Yes, yes, from Texas. Okay. And you must be an international guy because I don't really hear any Texas twang.
Yeah, I've been around the block a few times.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay. And look, we have Lee Wang. She looks like she might be on Mount Everest. Where are you calling in from today, Lee? And where have you climbed lately?
Well, I am in Seattle right now, but that picture is from Alaska. I wish where I am right now.
Okay, well, we had our first snow this morning, so I'm kind of excited. Or
Oh,
not my first snow, but my first snow of the season. And then, by the way, guys, you can see Lee, and then just below her on my screen, I can see Desiree Dubois, homework.com. And Desiree, where are you calling in from today? Lee and Desiree will be our speakers next week at the Leadership Power Hour, and you'll have a little bit of a chance to get to know them today. But let's just hear briefly from Desiree.
Good morning and afternoon, everybody. I'm calling in from New Jersey, South Orange, New Jersey.
And why are you in New Jersey right now?
South Orange. I actually
What?
happened to be at my just became a happy grandmother. And
Yes.
so we're here to visit our sons.
Yes. And usually I see her on the mountaintop, right? Hey,
Yeah.
Mark.
Hello.
Mark, hello. Where are you from? You're the SEO game.
That's me. I'm calling in from Salt Lake City.
Okay. Well, it's great to have you here. So thank you so much. And we have one of my favorite admin, Ken Copel. Ken, say hi, and where are you calling in from?
Hey everybody, nice to see all these lovely faces. I'm zooming in from just outside Raleigh, North Carolina.
nice. I love
Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Okay, great. And in case anybody needs a loan, Nancy Davison is so qualified. She went back to school about 10 years ago, got all of her licenses and credentials so she could become a loan broker. But I've known Nancy for over 40 years. She used to be my landlord, if you can believe that. She's still too young to have been my landlord, but I think she was just a puppy when we first met. Hey, Nancy,
Good morning, Patty. Thank you for having me. It's a beautiful day. Yeah.
where are you?
I'm in Capistrano Beach, California right now. We're
All
waiting for
right.
the snow and then I'll go up to our home in Nevada for the ski season.
Uh-huh. Oh, great. Well, and then I see Jeff. Hi, Jeff. It's good to see you on. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Chicago.
Okay. And I always think Central Oregon can get a little bit cold, but I think nothing beats Chicago.
Oh yeah, we already got snow, so
Oh, and I'm so happy to see Christine Brown here today too from Kind Cup. Where are you calling in from today? And tell us, what is Kind Cup?
I'd love to. Yes, I'm calling from Carpinteria, which is in between Ventura and Santa Barbara here in California. And Kind Cup is a reusable menstrual cup. So tons of patents and innovative product.
All right, good. Well, I was so happy when I saw you registering. And I won't use the time to say hello to every single person right now, but I do want to welcome you all. I think we've entered most of the people. I'm going to admit, let's see, Navi, there we go. We'll get them coming in. Jamila, I think there's a couple more. And I just want to introduce you to Jamila Sherman. She's our producer today, and Andrea is here with me. Oh my gosh, I just changed the view and I got to see all of you. I can't believe it. It's so great. Stu, nice to see you. Thanks for being on board. Stu's one of my Young Presidents Organization members. Hi, Stu. Say hi.
Hi there. It's not nice to join you all.
Stu is the real estate guy who was responsible for all the fabulous, successful locations of Kinko's and was it Sterling Jewelry? Who else did you do all the real estate for, Stu?
Jared Jewelers, we launched that whole operation.
Yes, yes, good. Well, we've got a really great group, and I see more, and I look forward to getting to acquainted with you more. Also, I am watching the chat, so if anybody wants to send any message, and I just want to welcome all of you guests. Well, let us just get started with this today. Welcome to the launch of our inaugural Leadership Power Hour series. We're really excited about it. And as I said earlier in the call, we've got two of them right now. Two of them are this one today with David Harder and Anna Ouroumian, and I will go into a little bit more about their background in a minute. And then 1 week from today, same time, we have Desiree Dubois and Lee Wang, who will be speaking to us about reaching greater heights. And Desiree describes herself as a digital nomad. So let's see, it looks like I've got to make, I do not know how to make Jamila host. So you're gonna just have to come over here and do that. Where, so, sorry about that. Okay. So let me run down the schedule today and what's going to happen. We say the Leadership Power Hour, but actually you have an opportunity for 2 hours today. Okay. So the first hour is speed networking, which is going to be really interesting. I gave you a quick little sample of it, but you're going to have to practice. So practice your elevator speech. You got to figure out how to make the most impressive self-introduction in about 60 seconds or less so that you can meet everybody in your breakout group. We're not going to do all 60 of you all in this call. We will be breaking you out into different breakout groups. But so get ready to practice your elevator speech. In about 15 minutes, we will have a breakout session right after we hear from Anna Ouroumian. And then we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about it. Each room needs a timekeeper who's really good at keeping people on track for 2 minutes. When you get into a room, there won't be a host in your room. You'll have to self-appoint yourself as the leader. Remember that old saying, act like a host, not like a guest. And so keep the room moving, 2 minutes for your self-introductions, and then you'll have a chance to listen and hear for everybody. We promise not to put too many people in one room. And then Jamila will make that decision just before we go in, because we'll see how many people actually we have that are ready to go into the break. We'll talk just a little bit about highlights of the breakout session. Anna will answer any additional wrap-up questions, and then we'll hear from David Harder. So let me introduce both of our speakers now. I'm looking, and if anybody has any questions, would you please type your questions in the chat box. I don't see any messages for myself right now, but I'm really happy to see you all here. So where's Anna? Anna Ouroumian. Where is she? I can't see you, but maybe when you start talking, Anna, you will show up on my screen. Are you here?
Yes, hi Patty, I'm here.
There you are. Okay, so Anna Ouroumian, Anna and I had the same mentor, believe it or not. Even though Anna and I are decades apart, we were both privileged to be mentored by a woman by the name of Adrienne Hall. You may not know that name, but Adrienne was the first woman in the United States to have an extremely successful advertising agency. If you've ever watched the television show Mad Men, you saw that there were a couple of really, really sharp women in that television series. And it was my theory that one of those young, smart, sharp women who eventually went and started her own ad agency, I always thought that was a little bit about Adrienne Hall. But Adrienne was an amazing woman, highly successful, put me on a bunch of boards, mentored both me and Anna. And when we were going to meetings at a very prestigious university, she said, "Oh, Anna's going to be there, Patty. You be sure and meet her." So Anna is a refounder of the Academy of Business Leadership, which is what she was doing when I met her. And now she is the founder of Glide Consulting Group. She's dedicated to empowering leaders to achieve impossible dreams. And boy, does she know what she's talking about with regard to that. She was raised in 11 orphanages in war-torn Lebanon. She came to the United States alone as a teenager with $160 in her pocket and 2 books. And she has become an award-winning serial entrepreneur with the Academy of Business Leadership and with some added training that she had with Bob Proctor in mindset training and leadership. She has been featured in the LA Business Journal, as I was, and Forbes and CNN and George Washington Honor Medal. She's got the Conrad Hilton Distinguished Entrepreneur Award. And I have watched her because it's been my privilege to be able to be one of the judges in her business plan competition. She has helped hundreds and possibly thousands of high school students create their dream business with a business plan, which they got funding for. She'll tell you a little bit more about that. Anna serves on the Kennedy School Women's Leadership Board at Harvard University. She was the youngest member ever elected. I might have been one of the older members ever elected to that board. And she also has been an advisor for entrepreneurial programs at AT&T, JP Morgan, and the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. So let me just welcome Anna and tell you I will be introducing David after we're done with Anna's, but I really did, now that I just given you this big buildup about Anna, I really want you to hear from Anna. And she's got the stage for about 15 minutes or so, and she'll be answering your questions. If you've got questions, type them in the chat. Hey, Anna.
Hi, Patty. How are you?
Was that an
What-
okay intro?
Well, thank you so much. Honestly, you're amazing. Let me just say that I've admired you, looked up to you, considered you like a mom, as you know, for many years. And you've been there for me in ways I can't even begin to describe. You're too humble and too kind. And I just love you to pieces and honored to be here, honored to call you a friend, and privileged to be with you and to honestly have you in my life. So Patty is the go-to for me. One of, on one hand, I can count people that I consider very close to me, and Patty is one of those people. So thank you, Patty. You've always been there for me. I love
Well,
you.
that was one of the reasons I wanted you and David to be the first speakers of our kickoff series of Leadership Power Hour, because I knew that you would be very valuable for people. But I'm just asking if anybody can. We've got a lot of AI note takers and stuff here, so probably want to get rid of some of those. And if you can, please have your camera on. We want to see your faces. And if anybody's falling asleep, I need to know, or David and Anna need to know too. So Anna, why don't you, I cannot see your face right now, so
I'm
I'm
here.
not sure where you are. Can you guys see
Not
Anna?
sure. I think
Shake
I
your
was
head.
pinned. Was I pinned at first? I was pinned, but I'm no longer pinned.
Jamila, we need to see Anna's face here.
Pin me probably. You
Oh
could-
yeah, there you are. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's
That's
so
awesome.
many. Okay. I'm so happy to see you. Okay, Anna,
Great.
tell them a little bit about your story. Tell them a little bit about
Yes.
your story.
Yes.
Why do you think that mindset is so important? How do you know this? And people have a lot of garbage going on in their life nowadays, and some of them are pretty depressed. So how do how do you get out of that, and how do you know that they can in fact achieve
Absolutely.
their dreams of going to America if that's what their dream is?
Absolutely, whatever your biggest dream, whatever your dream is. And just before I start, actually, Madman, I heard from the gentleman who worked for Adrian when he was a young man starting out, and he told me personally that that show was actually, she was one of the characters on whose life was that show was built. So
I knew
he
that.
said it
Yeah, I
yeah, so
thought
you were
so.
right. You were
Yeah.
right. Yeah, she was an extraordinary woman, and she's watching us from heaven. Anyway, so hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm super excited and honored to be here in your company, all of you. And I just wanted to say that Patty built you up so much because she knows, if not most of you, many of you. And it was, you know, for me, I've been thinking about you and what to share with you to make this time with you, the short period that I have with you, as memorable and as impactful as possible. So I will talk about I will start with the theme for today, the power hour, and it is about speed networking. So I can attest to the power of networking. If it weren't for connecting, and I'd like to say, take it a step further and say it's about connecting, the power of connecting with people. And if it weren't for that, there's absolutely no way that I'd be talking to you today. Absolutely no way. So how could a girl like me from orphanages in war-torn Lebanon and destined for a second grade level education to be able to make it? Now, I was destined for a second grade level education, and the best I could aspire to potentially be put to be kind of an indentured servant, actually, at the time, with a wealthy family. And it didn't matter how old or how young. And actually, I did serve that one of the summers. Patty, you don't know that detail. So I did that, and I know it's actually, I did it 2 summers. And I was very little. Once I was about probably 8. The other time was maybe a little bit around 11, not that long before I came to the US. So now, what is the mindset that can get you to think differently and beyond your circumstances? Now, I'm not going to talk down at you, of course not, because I know all of you have accomplished great things in your lives, whatever you're at. So I'd like to acknowledge all of you. And this is always about what I like to say, that there's always the next level. So no matter whether you're starting out or whether you're advanced in your career, it's so easy for us to get bogged down and to forget how powerful we are and what it is that we can do with our lives and the impact that we can have. Now, many of you, if I can see raise of hands, how many of you are entrepreneurs? You own your own business? Okay, great. How many of you, wow, that's a great number actually. How many of you works for someone? Can I see raise of hands, like your employees? Okay, well, you know, guess what? I'm sure you know it already. Whether you work for someone or you work for yourself, being entrepreneurial or intrapreneur within a company is critical for you to contribute, right? For all of us to contribute to the success of our businesses and the businesses that we're part of. And so if we talk about connecting beyond just, you know, my personal advancement, if I'm within a company, how can I take that skill to the next level? And what could that do for the business? And what could that do for me? So it will help whether you take the skills you learned today or some of the things you are reminded of today to your businesses or to your companies where you're serving in different capacities. You will be able to contribute in ways that I have no doubt in my mind that will be a groundbreaking opportunity for you to set off for 2025 in ways that you didn't even think possible. So I would like to start by saying here, if I could challenge you, if you could give me permission, do you give me permission to challenge you? Can I see a raise of hands? I know you don't know me, but by transitivity,
Okay.
y'all know Patty. Okay. All right. So challenge you in a good way to think about what it is that you have always wanted to do and that you can do, that you've been putting off doing, and why you've been putting off doing it. Now, how many of you would say it was due to potentially your kids, circumstances, job, lack of money, or too much money, or whatever the case may be, that maybe that one dream that is really in your heart of hearts that you have not gone after, and maybe it's been years gnawing at you? Is there anyone in this room? I know I have dreams like that. Is there anyone else that you still have not? Okay. So the goal here today is to just open your mind. Obviously, in 2 hours, we're not going to necessarily be able to solve all the problems, but at least get you to think differently a little bit. So to give you ideas about how to think about your circumstances, I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So when I was in this orphanage, and then I'll weave in about networking and all the skills that I applied to get myself here and the mindset that Patty asked me to talk about. I realized how many minutes I have, Patty? About 10 minutes?
Yeah, you have about 10.
10, exactly. Okay, perfect. I will do it in 10 minutes. So imagine my first night at this orphanage where I got institutionalized at the age of 3. I was put in an orphanage with my sister when I was a baby, a toddler. And I was about 3 years old when actually my sister about 2, we were sent into this Armenian orphanage. I didn't speak a word of Armenian. I'm half Armenian, half Lebanese. And the strange place, and I had these misconceptions about Armenians, I don't know, because my dad was not in the picture. And so I did not have really positive ideas about any of the things I was to live. And that got sealed the first night at this orphanage. So imagine the first night at the orphanage, I'm asked to come to the front of the room, thinking that I did something nice, and to be slapped across the face in front of 100, 150 kids.
No.
That was my introduction to this orphan. So I only paint this not to ask for your pity, because I don't feel sorry for myself. And I've done the healing, and I've forgiven the nuns, and I've forgiven my mom, my dad, everybody. It is not about that. It's just to show you, like at that time, it was, for me, it was very tragic. So how do you go from that kind of trauma or an environment where physical abuse, emotional abuse was prevalent, to thinking about coming to America and doing all the things that I've been privileged to do? And the thing that I love the most about what I've done in this country is all the kids that I've helped, over 140,000 young people that have gone through my programs. And so how do you think like that? So I always maintained to hope. Like I always held on to hope. And in my mind, somehow I decided, I literally decided, I made a decision. I remember it very clearly and vividly, that no one was going to steal my dreams. And I was going to do whatever it took for me to get myself out of those circumstances. Now, I realized I was this helpless little kid and I had no one. I had no allies, no love, no hugs, nothing. It was a very austere environment, similar to a prison. When we woke up, when we went to bed, everything regimented. So I realized I needed to make allies within the orphanage. And I started with the nuns, networking and latching on to the nuns. Not all of them were nice, but some were amazing. Latching on to the nuns that were really nice. And it made a huge difference. So how does that translate? You know, if you recognize people in your life that can help you, whether within your company or outside, don't ever hesitate to reach out to them and to make that phone call and ask them to speak for 10 minutes. You can do virtual coffees these days. And I promise you, if you may get 10 no's, but you will get that one yes that will be the difference maker. And one such person for me started at that orphanage, Sister Ida. Sister Ida, she did not care for me. So I worked very hard to get her attention. There were 100, 150 kids, and I can understand now in retrospect. And when she did, she was the one actually that saw something in me and made a point to put me in a school so that I could go beyond. She's the one who told me you were destined for a second grade level education. She pulled me out of that and helped me get to another school where I was able to go at least to middle school. Now, there I was on the demarcation line, stuck in the middle of a vicious war. And again, with no future, and let alone knowing if I would come out alive, because shrapnels, bombs would be falling on the school nearby. I mean, it was really scary, terrorizing. So I remember thinking to myself, okay, so I'm approaching 8th grade. I've skipped about 4 or 5 grades because I don't know, I was a precocious kid and I refused to be treated like a child. So the nuns treated me like an adult. And I thought to myself, if I leave the school because they don't have a high school, then I'm going to be on the streets. So how am I going to make it? And my sister was in the 1st grade. She's only 10 months younger than me. So here I am about 2nd grade, I believe, about to be kicked out of the school. So I concocted this whole plan and again, made it a point to ask one of the nuns to introduce me to talk to the Mother Superior to see if they could make an exception. To make a long story short, they did. And it was not an easy thing to accomplish. So the point that I want to get to is that the circumstance that I was in, honestly, it was an impossible situation. The odds of me convincing a nun when they had no right or no legal right to allow me to walk to a high school and to stay with them, to convince them to break protocols, rules, laws. I mean, you know, it wasn't anything bad we were doing, but still, they legally could have been liable. So how do you get to think about your dream and be going after it? The key is to be persistent, to have a vision first. What is your vision for what it is that you want to accomplish? To be persistent, no matter who's in front of you, to recognize allies that you can go after, maybe even building a board of directors of sorts, people you can go and talk to and ask them, you know, to support you. And the one last point that I want to talk about, and then I will open it up for questions, because I think it's a lot better since we don't have a lot of time, is to recognize that the scars that we carry, the pain that we carry, is actually our biggest superpower, because it is from there that we are able to build and contribute and make a difference. And so I parlate my childhood troubles, traumas, pains into lessons that I was able to attract the key people. And Patty, we were privileged to have her, and thousands, over 140,000 kids have gone through my programs, and 3,400 have gone through the entrepreneurship program, to get them to build a life of their own and to dream their biggest dreams. And the last thing that I'll say is about one of my kids who actually is running his own $100 million fund, that he learned how to do that in the program. He came to us, he was about 14-year-old kid, went to Berkeley, kept coming back every summer for an internship. So how do you do that? And I remember him asking me, Anna, how do you network? How do you network? And he's now the king of networking. So you start small and you put yourself out there and you just make it happen. So whatever your dream, you can do it. Thank you very much for this opportunity to connect with you today. Here I am. Thank you.
Anybody have a question that they would like to ask Anna? I want to just know what happened when you landed. Where did you land? And what was your first job in the United States? And by the way, were you illegal when you came?
No, I didn't. I actually no. I came legally to the U.S.
Okay.
I went out, like, I had a temporary protected status initially. That's how I started, which was for Lebanese refugees of sorts, you know, for what was happening, the civil war in Lebanon. So yeah, I went through the process. I know I'm not being interrogated. Not that it matters, to be honest, where anyone comes from. I think it's where we are headed and our intention. So where did I land? I was homeless the summer before I came. So Father Raphael, the priest that I didn't talk about, he changed my life, and I convinced him to pay for my ticket to America. So I asked him, I made a deal with him that if I got my own visa, would he pay for my ticket to America? And he didn't think I could. He said, sure, he will. And I know he was like going, okay, good luck. I did, and he paid for my ticket. And then he introduced us, my sister and I, to a family that he helped us stay with them that after that summer of homelessness. And their son had not visited. He was living in Hollywood in 12 years. And so he had come. See, this is okay. Please allow me to share this. Okay, I know we're running out of, like, my time is up. So see it, okay? I mean, I really wanted to come to America. And this can be translated into anything, not just me. And I'm sure you've seen it in your own lives, but I've been able since to break it down and teach it like a science as to how you manifest at will things that seem seemingly impossible. When I was so clear, no resistance, intent on coming, this man comes up out of nowhere and he's living in Hollywood, and Sister Ida was living in Glendale. And so what are the odds? And another time I'll tell you the story, but long story to make it short, I came and I stayed with him and his family initially. And then I called Sister Ida from that orphanage, and I would sleep in a classroom in Glendale, actually in a fold-up bed, because they didn't have enough room. So that's where I stayed. So my first job was helping Sister Ida cleaning that school, whatever she needed, supervision, anything. And then I got myself accepted into UCLA. And I went to UCLA and I studied economics. And again, that's a whole story. And I received the highest honor as the outstanding senior. And I was the only student highlighted at graduation in front of 12,000 people. So.
Wow. Okay, we'll take two questions. The first one from Brian at Augieverse.
Hey, thank you very much. Great insight. We really appreciate it. Question for you. You know, as I was thinking about what to do in 2025 that I've never done before, I did that in 2024, but the hard part is 2025, meaning how do you stick with something? It's one thing to put your foot into something, but how do you, what would be your advice to stick through the trials and tribulations? And I mean, you've been through a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. I'm offering a master class, Patty. Maybe this is a good time to mention it. And if Kara, my EA, can put it up, the link in honor of Patty, it's free of charge for anyone who'd like to come. It's next Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12. And I will be going into the details of that, answering like, how do you go against your terror barrier? How do you stay? The reason why people think, okay, this is very important. People think that we don't stick to our goals because we're lazy. I'm not saying you, Brian, definitely not. I know what you're doing. She told me about Augieverse a little bit, Patty. So I know it's not about that. But people think it's because either I'm lazy or I'm too busy or I have too many responsibilities and I cannot juggle it all. These are the surface stories that we tell ourselves. There are dynamics underneath that, and that has to do with the subconscious. See, the subconscious controls 95 to 99% of our actions, choices, and behaviors. Again, let me tell you, the subconscious and our beliefs at the subconscious level were created by the age of 0.5 to 0.8. And so 75% of those beliefs at the subconscious level were already formed by the age of 5 and 8. And 80% of those are negative. So you don't have to have grown up in an orphanage, trust me, to have those. So and what makes it even worse is that the subconscious is 575,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind, meaning my conscious will versus my subconscious beliefs at the subconscious level, they're in contradiction. And when there's an alignment, and only when there's an alignment, I'm able to sail through. So there's a science and an art to doing that. And I'll be discussing it more in depth on the 18th on Wednesday. I hope that at least gives you an idea.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much.
It's all of us.
Yeah.
So there is that, the subconscious is, it's like my conscious desires are one thing. And I feel like I'm carrying this gorilla on my back and I can't just move at the speed that I want to move. But there are ways to break through that and then be in alignment so that you can sail and marshal all the forces. Because when you don't have resistance, you become an attractor to everything that you need, the people, the resources, whatever you need to make your dream become a reality or your goal become a reality. I hope this helps answer a little bit.
It does. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right. Anybody else have a question for Anna? Otherwise, and Anna has mentioned something, but Kara, I'm going to just have you hold off on that because that free gift is for people who stay to the very end. We have 5 free gifts for you for those people who stay into the office hours after the presentations. So for now, we're just going to focus on that. So one final question for
the second
Anna.
Yeah, sorry, Patty. The second gift that you asked me, I sent it to you. So I'm offering one-on-one. So Brian, you could also book a one-on-one with me, like a 30-minute, so I can dig deeper into maybe something. But all I ask is that you fill out a survey because, so at least I know where you're at.
Yeah,
that would be very helpful. And then it will trigger my Calendly, and then Kara can, whenever we can put the link, you'll be able
Thank
to.
you.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions or comments. It looks like, Christine, you said something. Thanks for sharing my story. Hey, does your mom have a similar story or no? I know your mom immigrated to the United States and she's done amazing things also.
Thank you for mentioning that. Not nearly as traumatic as Anna, your story. That's absolutely incredible. But yes, with Lebanese heritage, and she also had nuns as teachers. But anyways, incredible story. Thank you
Wow.
for sharing.
Oh, thank you so much, Christine. Wow, say hello to your mom. That's awesome.
Yeah, and Jehan Brown, Christine's mom, had she is a professor, very distinguished professor, and she became an educator. So it's, you guys give back. Actually, all of those that I know on this call, you guys give back a lot, and I really appreciate that. Well, thank you. Well, Anna will be available in the second hour for office hours and such, and Jamila is just giving me a couple of um, notes about the office hours, which we'll talk a little bit more about. David and Anna both have some free gifts. So for those of you who stay into office hours, at least 90 minutes into today's call, we will be issuing certificates of attendance and completion, and we will be giving you the keys to the free gifts. And there's probably a lot more free gifts than other folks who can participate with us. But let me introduce you to David
Before
Harder.
you
I think
do,
Anna have something else
Patty,
to
one
say.
more thing to say that hopefully will help everybody, those who are kind of hesitant to raise their hands. I'm going to tell you, I swear, if I didn't raise my hand in the orphanage, the nuns would not have noticed me. And I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be talking to you today. I know some of you are thinking, well, it's normal. I do it too, even though I raise my hand a lot, but I do it many times where I kind of stay quiet and just kind of feel the room. Take advantage. There's no right, no wrong, no judgment. Just go for it. Patty is super generous. I know she has been thinking about this a lot and she wants you to get the most out of it. So just raise your hand, ask whatever, and you never know the connections that you'll be able to make to some people who could potentially change your life. Thank you.
Yeah, and the message that I got from you is get past your terror barrier. And so I know that we all need mentors, and sometimes it takes a coach or someone to help you stay accountable. Well, listen, I want you to know that Anna is a great resource, and I'm sure you guys are going to follow up with her later. We'll be able to connect you all if you wish to connect with each other, and you can find Anna and David on LinkedIn also. Um, but let me tell you about David Harder, because I first met David over 40 some years ago. And about when I met Dane too, about that long ago, back when I was a size 12 or something. David Harder led the first Inspired Work program, and he has led over 60,000 people through this program. It helps people identify their ideal relationship towards work. Now, David and I, when we were little puppies, we were in the staffing and executive recruitment business, and we were competitors. And if you ever get him alone, ask him to tell you some stories about that business. But he has a lot of funny stories, always makes me laugh about it. And we were competitors, but we were friendly competitors. And then eventually we both retired from the search business. I sold my company in 2006, as most of you know. But the Inspired Work program was designed for adults who are already successful, who are really kind of questioning who they are, where they're headed, and how can they make the most meaning in their life. So 2 years before I sold my company, and it might have actually been 10 years before I sold my company, yeah, because he started this in 1990. I went through his program before 2006, trying to decide, did I want to sell the company? Did I want to keep the company? What did I want? And back in those days, there were not a lot of business coaches. There was outplacement services, but there really wasn't a place where you could really get inspired about your passion and what you like to do in your profession. So for some, that means a career change, but for others, it means loving what you do. And I went back and I ferociously devoted myself to increasing my profits, increasing my volume, so we could increase the valuation of my business for when we did want to sell. At that point, I wasn't sure that I was going to sell, but it was about 1 year after I went through David's program that I made the decision. I do remember telling my lawyer, I'm going to sell this year no matter what. That was 2006. David has designed leadership, employee engagement, and learning programs for organizations like Walt Disney Company, the University of Southern California, HBO, Lucky Brands, and Panasonic, and dozens more, many, many smalls. And I have often sent my clients to David when they weren't sure if they felt burned out in running their businesses or if they weren't sure whether they want to sell or keep their business. I send them, and anytime any of my clients have sold their companies, and I have quite a few that have, I always refer them to David and send them through. Now, his programs used to be live over the long weekend, and then he figured out how to make them virtual. But you know what? David just recently, this past couple of years, has been doing a lot of research on becoming a digital social entrepreneur. And David says he offers mind-blowing scalability to individuals and to employers. And his mission is to help end underemployment and develop new form of career literacy so you are in control. So David is going to share with you a little bit, and then we will go into breakout sessions, I hope, after David speaks for about 15 minutes or so. And if you have questions for David, please start typing them in the chat, and then I can cue David and I can call those of you who have questions or comments. So, David, and before you guys go into breakout sessions, I will give you some instructions in the chat. But David, what else should I have said about you that I didn't when I did your intro?
Oh, I'll add to it, but the two primary areas that I think would be good for the group today that will address is why has loving your work become practical, and the other one is for people who hate networking. We've designed a program to help people build a professional support system in short periods of time, but selective, kind, respectful, not like all the just ton of emails we get every day saying the same thing. We've come up with a way to really change that. I did lead our first program in 1990, but what came before that, when Patty brings it up, I'm mystified that I'm here doing this. I got in the staffing industry when I was 23. 6 months later, I became a manager, and a year and a half after that, I was an executive in the business, and I didn't like it. Staffing was my day job until I got a record contract. And in early 1990, I did get a record contract, and my friends that were working in the industry said that you could see the skid marks as I left the company. 2.5 months later, my producer dropped dead of a heart attack. We were the same age, and my recording career was over at that moment. And I had this realization that I knew nothing of value about being in the present and being happy in the present. I was always working towards happiness. I'll be happy when it turns out this way, and when I'm doing what I really want to do and making a living from it. I viewed work at 12 years in the staffing industry as something of a racket. We weren't there to transform people's lives. We were there to move them. And that just wasn't enough for me. So I took a few months off. I was living at the beach, thank God, because of the staffing industry. And I started journaling. And as I continued journaling, I started to see the issues that come up for people who are really having problems with their work, but they're not really happy about it, or they view it as an intrusion in their lives. And I came up with a series of questions that started this whole thing called Inspired Work. And in September of 1990, we led the first program. I was trembling through most of the thing because they didn't know it was new. And 36 people were there. When it was finished, I wanted to find a way to offer this to everybody who works. And I also knew that my life had just changed in an incomprehensible way. The third month that we were in business, we were contacted by First Interstate Bank. And some of you in the group are old enough to remember what First Interstate Bank was. It was the third largest bank in the country, and they were starting to fall apart. They became part of Wells Fargo. We took almost 4,000 people through the program in our first year. And it was one of those, I'd say God shots perhaps, that gave us so much insight in how to manage people as they give birth to the life they really want to have. We had one gentleman, I can say his name, John Anderson. He was a senior marketing executive there. And he came in on the second day. He was absolutely rude to people on the first day. Came in on the second day and stood up, apologized for being so down at the beginning. But he had an announcement to make. And he said that he's always been taken by the world of art. And it was his greatest love. And he was going to take his skills from the banking industry into the world of art. And maybe 15 years later, I was at the gym reading the LA Times, and there was his obituary. And it talked about John raising millions for museums and charities throughout Southern California. He opened an art education program that is now run by the Getty. And at the very end of the obituary, it said Mr. Anderson was previously in banking. That was the whole thing about banking for him. I called his wife, and she said the most wonderful thing about all of this, every time he left for work, he was smiling. He loved that chapter of his life because it matched his values, it matched his skills, and he attached himself to something that he was almost like play for him. We had one other guy, and I'll move forward. We had a very young CFO in the bank who disclosed to us after he'd answered some of our questions that he'd come from a group of migrant families that worked in Central California. And he had great grades in school. He got a scholarship to Harvard. He did well. He had a finance degree, and he moved up in the bank very quickly. But the truth for him was that he loved being outside in nature. He loved growing produce. He loved the whole ethos of it. And he took his knowledge from banking, bought a farm in Central California, and gave stock for that farm to his family. And he was hugely successful with that operation. For me, today, the big problem is how out of step so many of us are in understanding the new workplace. Everything's changed. The mindset has changed, where we used to maybe have to make 2 job, 3 job changes in a career. We now have kids graduating from school will have to change careers 4 to 6 times. So the new thing is, instead of security being offered from sameness, this kind of standardized work we became so used to, which for me was boring. We now have infinite possibilities. Most people today that are being very successful find a way to match, to understand their career DNA and to understand what's meaningful to them and how they can make that a full-time job. And for me, there's nothing, my happiest moment is seeing somebody in a few minutes, you see all the dots connect and you know that they're at that tipping point. For me, that's my favorite thing, this work. Right now, we have so much turmoil in our country and it breaks my heart. And what work is contributing to that is a lot, because so many people are underemployed. They hold 3-4 jobs to make enough money for their family, or they go into jobs that they never liked, that they're just in this kind of aimlessness, clocking in and clocking out. And the new workplace is offering freedom. It's offering people with opportunities to do something they really love and turn that into a business. And I'm seeing from Patty, shall I wrap it up?
No, no, I wanted to add something because
Good.
what's happening is there's a lot of employers on this call, and I want to recognize that if the employers aren't responsive and understanding the changes that are taking place, they are going to lose a lot of their better people, because great people who are self-confident have lots of options, right? And so nobody is going to stay where they're significantly underpaid, although there's a lot of people who stay for a long time as volunteers or donors. I mean, most of the charity boards that I've ever served on were all volunteers, and so I didn't get paid for that. But if they don't appreciate or respect it, so I think that that's important. The other thing I encourage you, David, is to tell just a little bit quickly. Take 3 more minutes and tell about Work Skunk. And then if anybody else has questions, they can type them in the chat, and then I'll
Got
point
it.
out to you that
Okay,
there's
thank you.
questions.
A bit about the employers, though, first, is when we started and I described our programs to employers, they will go, well, if everybody started telling the truth, they'd all leave. I mean, it's just insane stuff. And we have clients today who know in advance that if they bring in 100 people, 45 of them will leave. And they're invariably the people that they had questions about. Are they happy here? Are they a fit? They're having behavioral challenges. We don't understand what's underneath that. And it's far better for an employee to recognize this is not working out than the employer to do that. It saves, well, for one, litigation, but it also saves the morale of a company. If someone's not happy there, they bring down everybody's energy. So I think people's outlook on this have changed a great deal. Work Skunk is about giving the people who most need what we offer complete access to our most essential programs. And it doesn't really matter whether someone's a CEO or someone just graduated from college. We make that available through free membership, okay? We make our social networking program available to everybody because, for example, I talk to a lot of career centers in universities, and many of them talk about how after paying all of their fees for college, they're penniless and they can't afford, they couldn't afford an $800 enrollment fee for our program. And when I was looking at that, it hit me that a lot of these kids are suffering from the naivete they have about what it takes to get a job, what do they want. And as a result, young adults are among the most impacted group by underemployment. And a lot of them go from really being enthusiastic to feeling like they've gotten into some kind of a rodent wheel running forward without getting anywhere. So that is behind our new model. When anyone in a company can come into the program and use it if if they're just doing an individual membership. But we have companies that come to us and say, we want to give this to everybody. We did that at USC, and it was transformative, especially after getting through some of the challenges they've had in the last decade. Is that helpful, Patty?
Yes, thank you so much, David. I don't see any questions for David. Say 3 things about what Work Skunk is, David. And what's
Okay.
gonna, just real quick, like a minute, okay? And then we're
Access,
gonna hear from Jamila because she's our producer
yes.
and she's got some instructions she's gonna give us here.
Okay. It's about accessing what you would most love doing with your time on Earth, and to do that in a practical way, and to do it in a way that serves your personal life rather than going to war with it. And we offer that to everybody. For organizations,
I'm gonna
it's
talk to
about
her on
having,
camera. Get her back up.
it's about having a team that is invested in not only meeting the business targets of their work area, but about supporting each other because they understand each other in ways that people who work together maybe 30 years couldn't have comprehended.
Okay, that's Work Skunk? That's Work Skunk? That's your elevator speech for
Part of
Work
Work
Skunk?
Skunk.
Uh-huh.
Well, this whole thing about elevator speech, I'm not really a big fan of it, but I'll tell you what the one time I did an elevator speech, someone was in the elevator going up to our office and said, what do you do for a living? And I turned around and I said, I help people find the lives they ought to have in 2 days. And I walked out and one of the people in the elevator chased after me. We do brands, and when someone has a highly defined brand, it's usually about a page of information, not what you call an elevator speech, but you use the portions of that brand to speak to the needs and expectations of someone that you're having a conversation with.
That's what Work Skunk is, using the brand?
That's what we do with a personal brand. It's about capturing the essence of an individual that goes well beyond your quick elevator speech. So
Okay,
it's
guys. Okay,
if
guys, I
someone,
get David is still in Skunk Works on Work Skunk. That's why he is not telling you what he's not answering my question, but that is not a problem. You network with David, you join his free membership program. We'll put a link in at the end of this call so that you can do it. But behind this, thank you, David. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
I want to ask you, I want to give you one more minute because I want you to just tell us one more very quick story about someone you know well who decided that what they were doing was okay, but they really wanted to do something better. Do you have one quick story or example
Oh, I
that you
do.
can share? Just because I think whenever we know specific examples, it's so much better than theory.
Well, you know Dave Roth personally, and I think he's a great story. He came through the program about 6 years ago, and at the time he was the chief marketing officer for Realtor.com. A friend of his had told him to run, not walk, into the program. And when he started to tell us about himself, he said, I've got a great career. I don't know what I'm doing here. About hour and a half into it, he asked to speak, and he said, well, since I arrived, I've realized that my sole purpose in this company is to raise shareholder value. And I'm kind of embarrassed about saying that to my kids. And by the end of the program, he started his own company called Emergent Digital. And his marketing company is devoted to social entrepreneurs, to nonprofits, to educational organizations He works with companies and nonprofits that are good news to the world. And he's brilliant.
Yes, he is. And I just had to bring him in. You introduced him. I asked Dave, it's funny because I didn't know you were going to use this example when I asked you, but about, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, I asked David Harder who the very best digital marketer that he knew of was. And he said, oh, there's no question about that. It's Dave Roth. And so for over the years, on a couple of occasions, I've had the opportunity to refer Dave to clients. And just recently, I was down in San Diego with a client, and they were having some challenges with new branding and things like that. So I think that you're right. You helped David change his life, and you helped him change lots of other companies and lives of people too. So congratulations on that. Good. All right. Well, we are having some technical challenges, and I think that Jamila is going to come on camera in just a second and tell us what is going on. We are supposed to be going into breakout groups about now, and we're also supposed to be starting office hours. So, Jamila, can you unmute yourself, and can you please tell us what's the next step?
Sure, guys. I don't know if you guys can see my video.
Yes.
So next we're gonna have office hours. I'll be dropping it in the chat. And I don't know if y'all are getting feedback as well, but that's basically where can you guys hear me clear now? Hopefully it's better. I'll drop the link in the chat, and there will be broken out into different breakout rooms. We'll have 5 different versions. Once you click the Zoom link, you'll be sitting in the waiting room, and then we will divvy up the different rooms. Each speaker and subject matter expert will lead the room, and you guys will be able to be there to just express any thoughts, questions, introduce yourselves, and then engage with each other about what you're here to solve. So I know we had a speaker from Upshot and Augieverse who wanted to speak first. So I'll let them
No, I want to hear from Imelda or Brian if they want to introduce themselves real quickly. But I don't have them on the schedule as a speaker today, but I'm happy to introduce them again. So,
no, I think we're good. I appreciate it though. We look forward to talking to people in the various breakouts.
So just to clarify, Jamila, now when they click that link, are they going to be leaving this meeting and going to a brand new Zoom meeting?
Yes, you guys will. So I'm dropping the link in the chat now.
Now, will we come back together here or not?
We will come back together on that link.
On that link?
Yes.
And then, so in other words, we've got over 30 people on the call right now. You're going to break us up into 5 groups, probably 6 or so in a group?
We'll see how many are interested in the office hours. A lot of people are dropping off now since they've already heard the speakers. And if they need further questions, however many join the office hours, I just put the link in there. I'll just divvy up the rooms from there.
All right. Are you able to do that from your end?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question? Question?
Sure.
Sorry, what is office hours? I'm confused. So when we drop off, we're going to go into rooms, but I get that part, but what is office hours? Sorry.
Right. So the first breakout session that we're supposed to be having, and Jamila, tell me if we just changed things, because we're supposed to have a breakout session where the instructions are here. I'm just putting into the chat right now. The first breakout session is supposed to be speed networking, 2 minutes maximum per person. Introduce yourself, your name, your city, your profession, or your company. And then next, as Anna challenged you, what is your unfinished dream? What would you like to do? Mine is getting to the Seychelles Islands. It's been on my bucket list for decades, and I was supposed to go this last year and I didn't, so I'm going to go next year. And what would you like to gain from this session? So that is that. Now, the question that I have is going to, so just explain this, Jamila. We're going into 5 separate rooms. People are going to go, they're going to click on the link that says office hours. And then once we get there, you are going to break them up into individual groups, right? So they can have small group sessions.
Correct. And it'll be the same flow. We're just switching Zoom links. And for you guys who know how Zoom works, I'm not the creator of the event, so I'm not able to create the breakout rooms on my end. So we're just switching links so that I can continue to master the back end over on my end. So if you all are interested, I have the link there and I will pin it as well.
What do you mean if they're interested? Of course they're interested. So yeah, let's go ahead and put that link there, office hours. And just before you all go, because I have this, I'm nervous about saying goodbye so early, but I did have you guys rapt attention. And hopefully you'll all join us in office hours. You'll all be part of a group. And then Jamila, we're going to have a breakout session in office hours for about 15 minutes. That's the first breakout session. And that's the speed networking, right? Okay,
Yes.
that's the first. Okay, then we all come back together in the same room, and that will be the link that you gave us. We won't have to do any more links. You're just going to put us all back together. Is that correct? And there'll be a little timer that says you have 2 minutes to go, etc. Okay, and then so you're going to be in your breakout room for about 15 minutes. You're not necessarily going to be with one of the speakers. This is the time for your speed networking. Then we're going to, after the speed networking, we're coming back together, and then there will be 3 separate links, a David link or a room, and a David room, an Anna room, and a Patty room. And then, so you could just choose who would you like to go hang out with and have a brief conversation with, give your feedback to, ask more questions or whatever. Is that, did I get that right, Jamila?
Correct.
Okay. All right. All right. So
How do we physically do this?
okay. Can you go to
Are you able to see the
your
chat feature?
No.
Okay. If you go to chat, Stu, I'm going to send you an email. Is there anybody else who cannot see your chat? Because I have the link and I am going to do that. This was our little technical glitch that we should.
And I just sent it to you as well as a direct message, Stu.
What, on his, did you text him or, oh, well, if he can't see the chat, he can't see it. So Stu Solomon.
It normally alerts them though.
Is there anybody else?
Patty?
Sue, give me the 3 letters of your email, the first starting. For whatever reason, it's not populating. Stu.
PRP.
PRP. There you go. Okay. Anybody else need the link via email? God bless her. Abigail is waiting. She's calling in from Kenya. I'm so happy that she's here. Anybody else need the link and email? Okay, I'm just sending this off to you right now, Stu.
Patty, in the event we can't get everybody connected in a timely way, I would suggest that we just stay in the format we are now and invite people to speak up about the challenges.
That's a good idea.
All right, so we are going to, Jamila, is there any reason why we cannot go into the breakout rooms now?
I wasn't the creator of the event, so even as a host, I can't create breakout rooms without signing you out, and then you won't have an account to sign into.
So I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what you're saying. Yes or no? Now, if they go to the link the office hours link, will
Uh-huh.
you be able to put them into breakout rooms?
Sure, but I think David was saying, let's not even bother with the link and let's just talk here.
Yeah, so I wanted, I've got 28 people. 20, that's 28 minutes if they do one-on-one. So
I'm so sorry to interrupt. This is Aviva Petrov here, but I cannot see the link on how to get into the room.
okay, Aviva, we will hopefully send you an email right now.
Thank you. So sorry to interrupt.
Aviva,
Petrov.
yeah, I don't have you in my phone book, unfortunately, so Aviva, give me your email address real quick. I'm going to send it to you.
Of course, it's Aviva Petrov, Aviva, P as in Peter, ETRO, F as in Fred, F as in Fred, @gmail.com.
Okay. Okay, everybody, don't spam Aviva.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right,
Thank you.
so just confirming this, Jamila, one more time. If they click the link now, everybody should have it. If you do not have it, if you text me your email address, we will quickly email it to you. But here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to click the link at office hours, and then Jamila takes control of that meeting. She will then put you into breakout groups of 5 to 6 people each. And then you're going to have 15 minutes for speed networking, depending upon how many people. She's going to report back to me. Now, Jamila, do I go there too, or do I stay here, or what?
Everyone goes there.
Everyone goes there. So I'll go there too. Okay. And then you'll figure out what to do with me. And then after 15 minutes, you're going to have a timer, 14, 13 minutes, you're going to have a timer countdown. Then we come back together, and then people will be able to go into a private room with David or Anna or me. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go from 5 breakout rooms to 3 breakout rooms. All right, everybody. I hope that helps. Yes, Essie, the Ava, yes, we are
Aviva.
supposed to leave this meeting and go to the one that says, why don't you drop it again? There it is, office hours. I'm just sending it now. Waiting room participants is not in this meeting. Oh, sorry. There's the group chat. Okay, well, you've learned what my superpower is not. It's technical. Okay, so don't laugh, Brian. You think this is so funny, right? Wait till you see what happens when we get with Augieverse. Oh my God. Okay. So everybody, I'm going to give you my cell phone just in case you have trouble. Don't call me, but text me, because if you have trouble, Andrea is manning my cell phone and she will send you the information. Okay, guys, now this is a test. This is an intelligence test to see if we can make it to the next level and we can realize our unfulfilled dreams. So David, click on the link. Anna, click on the link. Be there or be square. Okay.
And Patty, what is your cell number, please?
805 453 7490. And if you don't have the link where you're supposed to go, just text your email to my cell phone now, 805 453 7490. We have operators standing by to receive your donations. Oh no, that's not a charity. Okay, just kidding. Just kidding. All right, it's good to see you guys. I don't want to leave here, but I need you to go. I need you all to leave. Goodbye. I'll see you in office hours. See you at the link. Did you get it, Stu? Good.
It just says host has joined. We'll let them know you're here.
Okay, she'll let you in just a second. She'll let you in just a second. Good, I see you. I'm getting ready to leave. So Aviva, did you get yours?
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay, I did send it. AVIVAPETROFF@gmail, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Nope, did not receive it.
Oh, it's because I'm sending it to CO, not COM. There, let me send it to COM. Okay, I'll see you guys on the other side.
Thank you.
All right, just sending it now, Aviva. Good
Thank you
luck.
so much.
All right,
Thank
complaints can be sent to my cell phone text.
you. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Hello.
So I think we're just supposed to take charge of our own session here and just introduce each other.
Oh, introduce me. Okay, great. I didn't know what they were gonna break. Have they broken us down to groups yet or no?
I believe so. I believe we're in a group.
Okay, great. Go on, Brian.
I'll start up a timer for 15 minutes, so at least we know our time.
Okay. So,
Do one of you want to start what Patty asked us to do?
Sure. Wait, why does it say join breakout rooms? Sage says.
there is another message that says Jason inviting you to join a new one. Are you guys seeing this invitation? I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No,
We can just see here.
setting up the breakout rooms right now.
Oh, okay, so we are still gonna be divided. Okay. Looks like this is going.
Hi, everyone. I'm advising on the breakout rooms now.
All right. Oh, looks like we're still in the main room. We made it.
Oh.
We made it to the other side.
Now I can see you guys
Okay.
too.
Hi.
Oh, cool. Shan, you're starting. All right. I don't think we haven't been broken up yet, Jamila, have we? Are you
No, I was waiting for at least you to join so I can assign.
we've got a few more. We lost some. I got a couple messages. But look at Sean, she just already started, so that is so cool. All right, so in a minute, she's going to be putting us into our breakout rooms. Jessie Lee, good to see you there.
Hi, Patty.
Yes, Daphne, it's so nice to see you. Good. Okay.
Am I in this group?
Watching myself. You're in here, but we haven't been broken up into groups yet. So I think Jamila, what's your ETA on breaking us into a group?
I'm assigning them now.
Okay, great. And I think it's a fair amount of random. I may have given you some names beforehand. I do not see a lot of those people on this call, so I think we got a small group. So maybe just break us into 3.
3 rooms. Okay, I was doing 4. I'll switch it to 3.
All right. So, what was your takeaway, Desiree? Would you mind? I put you on the spot for just 1 second. From listening to Anna and from listening to David, what was the takeaway message that you thought about or heard?
I think it was consistent, and well, the message from Anna was about no matter what your background is, no matter where you came from, what's happened, that you can chart your own path. And you can do whatever you want to do. You can utilize those obstacles or those challenges to your benefit, either through people, places, or things. So this always really boils down to your mindset, your individual mindset, and what your determination is. And then with David, basically the same thing, that no matter what you're doing now, it doesn't have to be the rest of your life. If there's something else you want to do, be brave, be strong, be focused, and change it. Because so many people are living day to day, they're living they're just dying to live and not living to die. So it is going through the time. And I think it's really important for everybody, no matter where you are, to know that if you don't know how to do it or having difficulty doing it or struggling doing it, because it may or may not be easy, then there are resources, people, and places where you can go that can support you in that. There's no excuse to live a second life. You should live your best life. And so I told my girlfriend, I'm staying with the girlfriend right now, because I'm out of town. I said, wake up this morning. I said, repeat this after me. I said, today is the first day, or no, today is the day I step into the best day of my life. I said, just keep saying that. Because she would say, oh, it's going to be a hard day. It's going to be a tough day. I said, no, today is going to be, you're stepping into one of the best days of your life. And that's kind of what they were sharing, the mindset.
I think
I'll let you guys get to chatting and place you all in the room. Yeah.
May I say something?
please.
Yes. My big take from Anna's story was that the underlying principle behind anything, whatever it is in life, is really consciousness. When she was talking about this huge percentage of subconsciousness, as opposed to things that we are conscious of, it is really a matter of consciousness and being in absolute harmony with that flow that enables you to completely open up to everything that is out there. It's like tuning in to your favorite radio station when you are 100% synchronized to it through consciousness. That's my takeout.
I think the issue that I came away with is the persistence that Anna had in making sure that she always found a way around the issue, and her own individual assistance came from internally. And if you don't have that internal will and direction, that is what really drives you and gives you the accomplishments that you're seeking.
Absolutely. And we're talking about exactly the same thing. Different angles of exactly the same thing.
Hi, everyone. Can we go around and introduce ourselves? David is here, and David spoke about work skunk. And I think we want to use this time to talk about our companies, what we're doing right now, why we're here, I know, David, you're not a fan of the elevator speech. One of the coaches, I'm a member of Patty's group coaching team. My name is Pam Gordon. I live in McKinney, Texas. I am the Director of Operations and Quality Assurance for Princeton Pharmatech. My dream is to live off the grid for 1 week by the Emerald Lakes in Yoho National Park. That's my dream. What my company, or the company that I work for, I'm the second in command, is we provide expert guidance in the analytical processes to help new therapeutics to market success. So I have 22 years in business management and transforming startups and building high-performing teams. So my passion is really about helping the next generation find their way into the science, technology, and math world. So that's me. Thank you.
So a bit of clarification, and Pam, you have you want the flexibility to be out in the middle of nowhere, and am I assuming checking out from the rest of the world, you're not having to deal with it?
So it's really my vacation is to be off the grid, because I work remotely, so I can't really run away from my work. So when you have have a phone, you can work. So what running the business 100% remote is really possible. So for me, my dream is to learn to disconnect. You know, maybe I'll start with 1 day, 2 days, and then see if I survive without my phone, without my electronics. And very close to nature. I do like nature. It's part of, what made, what made me survive the few challenges that we had during the pandemic, where everyone needs to be inside indoors. I just, take walks. But yes, that's my dream, to be off grid or live off grid. Just for 1 week, David, not long.
I'm
Mine,
going to preface this. When someone is working with us in the program, it's far better for them to come to their own conclusions about what to do with their dream. And until we have some kind of a business prospectus that works here, it's going to require some step answers. So here are a few things that come up. Key is, how can you create as much value for the time that you have? What can you contribute to companies where it's not going to matter to them whether or not you're gone 1 week a month? That to me is one of the practical pieces here. And people that articulate their value well, and then articulate the type of clients that are going to be pulled with that. You said you're in science?
We are in the data analytics, and we help pharmaceuticals get their drugs to market.
Got it.
New therapies to market. So
yeah, well, the country has mixed feelings about pharmaceutical companies. I view them as heroes. And with companies like that, they're looking for results. Hands down, looking for results, because they take so many risks with their money that anybody that can get a drug to market more quickly than the other choice is really good. So I'd start with capturing your results so that you can articulate to either current clients or future clients what kind of results you produce for people. I have go ahead, please.
No, I did. Continue, finish what you were saying, please.
Okay. I have people in our community that sometimes charge outlandish amounts of money. There's an organization, Development Star, who charges $25,000 per day. She insists on first class travel and 4-star accommodations. And she was telling me about how she had this one company in London, flew out there to sit down with them, and towards the end of the meeting, one of the people at the table started to try to negotiate on first class travel and accommodations. She got up and walked out. They called her on the phone in the car and asked her to come back. She says, no, pardon my language, but if you're digging around with me on this, you're going to dig around everything else. And they talked about that to a number of companies that she later worked with. So she had the kind of results in her past that caused that meeting, but then they tried to cheapen the pending relationship. Do you get that distinction? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not giving our programs away for nothing. We're working on a new model here that's kind of like LinkedIn. when people joined LinkedIn, it didn't cost a dime to do that. Now they charge for all kinds of add-ons like recruitment. They've changed the world of staffing forever around premium services that help people reach the right people more quickly. There are all kinds of ways that the company's making money, but their original intention of connecting the business world is better than ever.
When I look at my career, my name is Stu Solomon. When I look at my career, I've had 5 different careers, and the first one was a CPA. Second one was a administrative and financial manager for a service company that was a division of a New York Stock Exchange company. Third career was a partner in a venture capital. Fourth career was running a concrete products company for which I knew nothing about at the beginning. The next career was national property management, having over 30 properties throughout in 5 states. And my last career was doing strategic planning, doing developing with the client their target customer. This is retailers, their target customer, and taking their target customer and overlaying it into a geographical information system software that permitted us to know the greatest concentration of where their target customer lived, using software that was developed by MIT, using demographic software, and it really was an astounding opportunity. And again, I attribute this to 3 things. One, having a mentor. Secondly, education. The business education I got permitted me to have skills that I could use throughout my career. And the fourth one was just being able to take advantage of the opportunities.
So a question about this too, did you fall into these opportunities, or was the diverse nature of your career intentional?
Well, the first one, the CPA, was intentional. The next 2 was guided by my mentor, and the next 2 were things that I developed.
Okay. So what's the point of this? Where do you want to go next? Have you defined that?
I have, and it's at 86, I'm ready to retire.
Okay, get out there and retire. Why are you here today?
I've followed Patty for many years, and she thought it would be an interesting opportunity to get to know some other people and be part of the network.
And we never retire, ever.
Are you going from this extensive workload to nothing, or are you looking for something different?
No, I'm prepared to do consulting, but again, because of COVID, the whole networking concept has been greatly diminished. With group getting to know people and doing networking is much more difficult following COVID than it was before.
Well, a lot of that for some people is good news. I'll give you my own story with it. When COVID started, about every 4 to 6 years, I'd go out and get a new BMW convertible. And then I moved the business in-house, and we started doing everything virtually. I sold my BMW convertible last year on a whim because I was driving $300 to $400 a year. We had 2 nice cars in the family. I said, so let go. If you knew me as a native Angelean, that is shockingly different than where it was. My car is my soul. So Coming out of that, I have an international clientele that I work with without leaving my office in Santa Monica. Our reach has quadrupled, and I really don't like investing too much time driving around Los Angeles these days, because staying home is far more pleasant.
How did you develop those contacts to be able to do that?
In WorkScout, there is a training program, a learning program called WorkScout Connect. I developed this when we were coming out of the Great Recession. It started 2008. We lost several $1 million in contracts in the first few months. When it was time to come back, I wanted to come up with a way to take my high touch business development skills. I didn't view that I had clients, I had relationships. You know, Patty's an example of that. And I also could see that going in directly.
Recording in progress. Well, that was fun. We had, oh God, thank goodness most of you are back, or many of you are back.
May I introduce myself for a moment, very
How was
quickly?
your breakout room? Not your breakup room. Give me a
May-
thumbs up or a so-so. I agree with Brian. Oh, good. Anna, you liked yours. Audrey, you liked yours. Audrey, we have several people from Africa here today too. So I don't know if they originally were introduced to me from you or what, but Daphne, I learned in my breakout that Daphne is going to be starting a virtual assistant business. She's located in Uganda, but she takes care of people in the United States and a couple of other countries. And then we have somebody else
May I introduce myself for a moment?
Tanzania, but I don't see her on the call.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I do not know your name, but your name, it says Angela Mezqua. Is that you? Oh, you're Angel. Angel. Oh, great. Okay. What was your takeaway from the group? How did you like it?
I liked it really well. I actually got pretty lucky to be in a pretty cool group. But most of it, learning what other people do and what we're all how we all got connected into this program. So really awesome.
Okay, great, good. We lost Stu. Did we ever get Stu back?
I'm here. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Anyway, Dave.
I was answering a question to Stu, and we got pulled back in halfway through the answer.
Okay.
Shall I complete that answer quickly?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Quickly do it. I'm assuming that's Stu. He's muted. Maybe you could unmute him, Jamila, on the iPhone. I think that 818 phone number is probably Stu on his iPhone. Okay, go ahead, David. 1 minute.
I'm back with you if you can hear me.
We can now. Yes, good. Okay.
Stu was questioning me and how we built back our business after the Great Recession, because he's in a place today where he wants to bring all of his skills to on a consultative basis, and not a huge business, but something to keep him occupied. And when we were coming back, I had worked very much like Patty does in business development, relationships for life. People stayed with me because I loved them and they loved me. But when we came back, I had to find a new way to reach people, because we had so much security, people getting into any organization. We had this whole thing with pitch selling that brought it into that. So I brought high touch business development into LinkedIn, and it was very selective. We would select the people, the organizations that could change our lives, not just anybody, but like game-changing clients, mentors, strategic partnerships. And we didn't come in with the sales pitch. we came in, and from the moment we sent out the first message, it was all about them. People can only think about something other than themselves for 15 seconds. That's our brain at work. And what that means is that instead of fixing ourselves, we talk about them. You know, so I would send a first note out. Been following your career for years, and I'm so impressed. If you'd like to be connected here on LinkedIn, I'd be delighted to learn more about you. That for one example. When people accepted those, the next message was, I have people in my circle that I think you would want to know. So if you'd like to have a quick break bread conversation, maybe 15 minutes at most, let's schedule that and get together.
Okay, good. Good timing. Listen, we have only 15 more minutes, so I would like to do a quick recap though. Audrey, you were probably in a breakout group. You always are a great listener. Can you give me a quick recap of a highlight from the group, or maybe can you share?
Absolutely. Well, I was blessed to have Anna in the group, and so I was just excited to be able to add just in person. And we had Anna's assistant, Karen. We also had one of your colleagues, one of your partners. She's into expression, Bobby. She's into creative expression and connecting with your personality and how you move with what you're saying. We had a couple people that were not familiar with your work, but are excited to be here and network. What I got out of it was, again, expanding the network and also having a moment or two to hear directly from people. It was precious. It was invaluable. Thank you.
Oh, good, good. Bobby, I didn't even recognize you. I thought you were a teenager. Look at her. Wow. So, Bobby, anything else that you want to add or anything that you need? I'm interested in that. We are a small enough group now that I think we can just share individually. Thank you, Audrey.
Yeah, it was a really good group, and I love going last. So you can, pick and choose. Yeah, this is my I rode and went to yoga look today. So thank you for the compliment. This is actually what 74 looks like.
No way. Yeah, don't you wish, Anna? Don't we?
Yeah, I'm like, what? That's insane. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
crazy. It's pretty crazy. But, yeah, and it's so fun to be on here with Desiree, because Desiree is the one who introduced us in the very first, way back. I don't know how far back, Desiree, but a while. So it's nice. It's like being with family. And thank you, Anna. Your story was amazing. I have a girlfriend who escaped from Iran, and it was. I can't imagine what you gals have gone through. I just can't even begin to imagine.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's amazing. Very inspirational stories, all of you. So Jamila is suggesting, she just wrote in the comments, share how we can follow you. So if you want to give us your LinkedIn connection, I see Jeff had to leave early, so he just put his LinkedIn connection there, which I think is great, and a couple of other things. So now I need a vote right now. I need to make a decision. We have only 15 minutes left, and I was hoping to be able to send you to office hours and then bring you back at the end, but I don't think that's going to work out all that much. Can I just see a show of hands, or can you, what to do? What do you think we should do, Jamila? Should we send them to private meeting with David and Anna in 2 different groups, since some of them already had them, or should we just stay together? Anybody have some good thought on that? I'm open to either one.
I think we have maybe a 10-minute session. However, I think it's based off how many questions everyone has.
How many are left in the group?
We have about 20 people left. So I can, shuffle everyone around again, and so everyone can speak with a different subject matter expert. And
here's what I'm suggesting, is that you put in the chat, D, if you want to go in a room with David and talk about your own inspired work and your next steps. A, if you want to talk with Anna about breaking through your terror barrier or why your mindset is so important, put A for Anna, D for David, or P for Patty. So we're going to have 3 breakout rooms, and please put in the chat where you want to go. And I love that you guys are putting your LinkedIns in the comments. That is great. Okay, Bobby, I will see you in my breakout room. And I'm looking, okay. Daphne is going to be with me. Aviva is going to be with me. Okay, anybody, do you want to go in a private room with David, or do you want to go in a private room with, okay, there's Brian with Anna, Jesse with Anna.
I put David down. I'd like to meet with David. It doesn't have to be a private room, but I'd love to meet with him.
Audrey's going to meet with David. Okay, perfect. Are you getting that, Jamila? You know how to break people up now?
Making sure I can give people.
Looks like Anna is winning our popularity contest, but I would love to be a fly on the wall in Audrey and David's meeting. Oh my gosh. Watch out, because they're going to cook up some mind-blowing thing that's going to change the world. Holy moly. You could give her own channel, David. She'll be fantastic. Ask her to tell you about the time that she ran for president. All right. Okay.
Let's talk about an interview with our YouTube channel.
All right, Jamila, do you have what you need? Anybody who didn't declare, give them to me, I guess. Sue, where do you want to go?
I'd like to go back to David and finish.
Okay, so David and Audrey in David's room. Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna let Jamila do her thing. We're gonna be in office hours for the last 10 minutes of the deal. And I want to find everybody's LinkedIn. Wow.
Thank you, Patty, for organizing this. This is great.
I'm so glad. Yeah, you contributed a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patty. You are awesome too, David. Thank you.
What room did you go in? Did you decide you want to go into, Angel?
I put Anna, I believe.
Okay. All right, good. All right. Well, I hope you get better acquainted with you on another time. That those of you that I don't know well, this is my opportunity to meet you, and I'm so happy to be able to connect. Okay.
All right, we're ready.
Jamila, pull the plug, and then if you guys those who are going with Anna and David, well, we may come back at the very end. You know, give us like the last 1 minute just to say goodbye, kisses, and hugs. Okay, Jamila. Thank you.
So how do we get into the rooms with you?
Just stay there. Jamila is going to move you. And if you end up in a room that you don't like,
You can shoot me a message and I'll switch it over.
or just serendipity, right? Showing up is half the deal, right? So showing up is half the deal.
Nothing, is that correct?
You did nothing. And Jesse's giving her LinkedIn profile. Angel's giving his paint.
Hello again.
Hello.
So what would you like to discuss, everybody?
Well, I'm Audrey Addison Williams, international speaker, published writer, expert in transformation and community engagement and community wealth creation that's sustainable. I have a vast network that I'm looking to plug in, and just got very excited, David, about what you offer. I actually Googled you because Patty had given me your name, but just hearing from you is just very, very exciting. I lived in Africa for a while, Uganda and Kenya. I served as ambassador to Parliament of World Religions, and as a result, I have connections in Iraq, Afghanistan, India, Pakistan, Canada, as well as, of course, the United States of America. I do new paradigm leadership training, and our convening model is a little unusual because we do festivals, music, dance, drama, art, and poetry as a convening model, and then we introduce our partners, and we get some idea as to how we serve. What I do is ask people to do a 2-year life plan after the orientation. So we know what their goals are. And then they are assigned a mentor or coach to help them achieve that. So now I know so many people who've lived what you talk about. I was at a sleep apnea clinic here in Santa Barbara. I was talking with the clinician and I asked him how he ended up doing this. He goes, I got stuck here. He goes, I meant to be here for 1 year. I've been here for 22. You know, and so your other example, I had someone come to class in Kenya or even Uganda, because my course is Journey of Self-Discovery, Who Am I, What Is My Purpose? And he was a Kenyan, he was an African man, afraid to say that. He was an artist. He worked at the bank. And he was afraid to express that he was an artist. So I'm just really excited in what you do and how to connect with what you were doing.
Take a breath. So, what do you want to take away from our conversation?
It seems as though Patty was getting us something that you weren't delivering on, that you weren't saying, something that was important for us to know.
Okay.
About what you're doing now, about the opportunities present with your work now.
Yeah. My work now is about solving what is in essence a global problem. Is that so many people don't have a clue on how to construct the work they will most enjoy or find it. And so we keep going out there for the same thing. The standard for so many people with work is survival. It isn't joy. It's about get my family through the next month. And as a result of not having career literacy, they keep doing the same thing over and over again. I'm going to suggest a book for you that you read. Maybe after reading the book, the two of us get together, because I have a sense it's going to spur a lot of what you're looking for. Peter Diamandis, who's the founder of X Prize, which is an incredible charity here in Los Angeles. They fund innovation, and his book is called Bold. It is something of a handbook for social entrepreneurs, people who want to solve a problem, and the solution is sustained by making it profitable. They're not sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
David, I'm going to get your contact information from Patty, and I'd like to hear the rest of your story as to how you achieved what you've done.
Okay. Go to workstuck.com and become a member, and I would suggest sign up for one of our next programs. We're doing one this weekend, but it's a bit too late for us to deal with last minute enrollments. We can do that if you're at a critical point. But the January program, I would definitely come to that. And what happens out of that is clarity. Someone in the outplacement years ago asked us, what made us different? Why were so many people at Lead Hecht Harrison talking about the Inspired Work program? I said, well, when they come to you, your new clients are grief-stricken, angry, sometimes in a state of shock. But when they do the Inspired Work program first, they come to you and they're bossy. They tell you what they need, what they want to accomplish, and consequently, they use their time. The precious one-on-one time is most costly for these firms. They use it wisely.
Interesting.
Okay. You know, there's a big movement underfoot now for quite some time. Sherry Lansing, the former, she was the first CEO for a big film studio, first Paramount and then Fox. She greenlit films like Titanic. Sherry started her own foundation. And at first it was about breast cancer, but she expanded about 10 years ago by helping fuel this movement with baby boomers who don't want to retire, they want to do something else. They want to take what they've learned and put it into an area where they can grow. And so it is a big deal today. I think that retirement is turning into an old idea for many people. Okay? It's for me. I can't imagine not doing this work. I can't. But the question becomes more what's meaningful to me now. You know, we grow as different people far more quickly in the modern world. Finding ways to stay abreast of what that growth is a really good idea. That's part of what we help with. But you've seen it over and over again. It's a really good idea to keep track of how we're growing.
So David, I have a question. Do you have two separate tracks, one for the employer and one for the employee?
Two different whats?
Tracks, two different processes. Really, I'm asking, you made some very, radical statements about the new role of employment. And I'm just wondering, is there a process of bringing this new culture to employers, to companies, so that they embrace the new paradigm that you're talking about?
When we started out, we didn't encourage companies to take everybody through the program because I was still discovering what the capacity of what we were doing. Okay. And I didn't want an entire team of people walking out of one of our organizational clients. The first big program we developed that used most of the architecture of the Inspired Work program, but then personalized it for leadership. That's what we did for the Walt Disney Company. And since then, we've done for many other organizations. Anybody who goes into that program understands the architecture, okay? Because so much of the architecture is relevant to all forms of work, okay? Then we did University of Southern California, which is where is my alma mater. USC was going through some big challenges with work, and we took entire teams through the Inspired Work. I went to the firm for a meeting. I was sitting in the lobby, and that woman walked into the lobby, and she was very pregnant.
Wow, what a story.
And we took one look
Wow.
at her and started crying. I was as happy as a little girl. Okay.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, because I think we're desperate in our country right now for optimism and good work and kindness. And I find that when other people hear what's going on with someone they care about, they're almost always willing to help if it's a good message.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What else? So, Audrey, how do we connect? You want to send contact information? Take mine. What would you like?
Give me yours. I definitely want to connect. I'll also put mine here. I'll put mine here.
Okay, good. Mine is david@workskunk.com.
And you're,
Yours is what?
David@workskunk.com.
Okay.
and what's your cell number, David?
Recording in progress.
All right, well, we made it back. Oh my God, there's a lot more people that came back. Hi Pam, I didn't even get to talk to you at all this time. Well, listen, I would just like to do, our time is up, but I would like to say thank you for staying to the very end. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna just take a picture of this crowd here so we can make sure that we get you all your certificates of completion, and we appreciate you. I would just like 1 or 2 words, closing comments. Anna, you're going to be last, and we're going to go.
I'm not going to speak.
Yeah. Sorry. Closing. Closing comments, and it just is. Pam, like 1 word, 1 or 2 words, closing comment. Aviva, Bobby, Audrey, David, we'll just go around. So Pam, you go first. Closing word.
I'll say persistence.
Persistence. Oh,
Yes.
great. Audrey, what is your closing comment?
Exceptional planning.
Exceptional planning. Good. Okay. Daphne, your closing comment.
Kindness.
Kindness. Ooh. Essie, your closing comment. Consistency. Is that what you said? Consistency. Okay.
Yeah.
David.
Dreams.
Dreams. Okay. Brian.
Reality, make them reality.
Okay. Stu.
Her personal challenges.
Stu is on mute. So as soon as you can take yourself off mute, Stu, I want to hear your closing comment. Para.
Networking.
Networking. Okay. Bobby.
Community.
Jesse.
Focus.
Focus. You get what you focus on. Viva, did you give yours yet? Or
No, not yet. My closing comments are consciousness and deep gratitude. Love. It's for me. All go around.
Beautiful. Charlene, closing comment. Jesse, then I think we got everybody. Then Anna.
Her personal challenges. This is Stu.
Personal challenges. Okay. All right. Yes.
I'm going in the right direction, so I'm glad to know that.
All right. Excellent. Jesse, did you give yours?
Yeah, I said focus.
Focus. Okay. All right. Did anybody else? We got everybody. All right, my dear Anna Ouroumian, you open this meeting. I want to just let you close it with your final words or your sentence with love. And I thank you guys all for your time and for being with us, and especially for staying to the very end.
Yeah, thank you so much, Patty. You did a phenomenal job. I mean, I think we're all grateful for you for putting us together. And I think this is a special moment in time right before the end of the year that we get a chance to reflect and plan ahead and realize that each one of us are an important piece, an important portion of the role that we all need to play to make this planet a better place for everyone, not just ourselves and our families. So expansion is my closing word, and contribution. Thank you.
Beautiful, and thank you. Special thanks to Jamila Sherman, our producer, to Andrea Carroll, who is over here on the side, texting back and forth, and to Riza Infante, who wasn't able to be with us today, but who helped get all this organized and set up. So thank you guys. I have so much affection for you. Those of you I've known for a long time, I love you. And Brian, I look forward to be loving you too in the future as I get to know you better, and everybody else too. Sue, be well, be
You-
successful.
You too.
Thank you. That is so
All right.
much.
Okay. Oh, you're so welcome. Bye now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.